Dr. Sarah Chen stared at her computer screen, her eyes wide with disbelief. The data couldn't be right. She blinked, rubbed her eyes, and looked again. The anomaly was still there, a faint but unmistakable blip at the edge of the solar system. "Hey, Mike," she called out to her colleague. "Come take a look at this." Dr. Michael Thompson hurried over, his coffee mug sloshing dangerously. He leaned over Sarah's shoulder, squinting at the screen. "What am I looking at, Sarah?" "See that?" She pointed to the blip. "It's moving. And it's not following any orbit I've ever seen." Mike's eyebrows shot up. "Are you saying what I think you're saying?" Sarah nodded slowly. "I think we just found our first sign of alien life." The next few days were a whirlwind of activity. The news spread like wildfire through the scientific community. Observatories around the world turned their instruments towards the anomaly, confirming its existence and unusual behavior. As the object drew closer, more details emerged. It was artificial. That much was certain. Its movements were too precise, too purposeful to be natural. Speculation ran wild. Was it a probe? A ship? A weapon? World leaders were briefed in secret. Military forces were put on high alert. The public remained blissfully unaware, going about their daily lives as humanity faced its greatest challenge. 10 days after its discovery, the object entered Earth's orbit. It was roughly the size of a bus, sleek and silver, with no visible markings or propulsion systems. It hung there, silent and motionless, as if waiting. In a secure underground facility, the world's top scientists and military leaders gathered. The tension in the room was thick enough to cut with a knife. "What do we do?" asked the U.S. president, her voice steady despite the fear in her eyes. "We wait," replied Dr. Chen, who had been flown in as the lead expert. "They came all this way. They'll make contact when they're ready." As if on cue, every electronic device on Earth crackled to life. TVs, radios, phones, computers, all of them broadcast the same message in a deep, resonant voice that seemed to bypass the ears and speak directly to the brain. "People of Earth," the voice said, "your planet has been chosen for assimilation into the Galactic Empire. Prepare yourselves. Resistance is futile." The message repeated 3 times before fading away, leaving a stunned silence in its wake. In the underground facility, chaos erupted. Military leaders shouted about defensive strategies. Politicians argued about public announcements. Scientists debated the implications of the technology they'd just witnessed. Through it all, Dr. Chen sat quietly, her mind racing. She thought about the vastness of space, the incredible odds against life evolving, let alone becoming advanced enough for interstellar travel. And yet here they were. But something didn't add up. If this empire was so advanced, why announce their intentions? Why give Earth time to prepare? Unless... "They're testing us," she said, her voice cutting through the noise. The room fell silent, all eyes turning to her. "What do you mean, Doctor?" the president asked. "Think about it," Sarah explained. "They have the technology to cross light years of space, to hijack every communication device on our planet simultaneously. If they wanted to conquer us, they could have done it already. No, this is a test. They want to see how we react." The implications sank in. Humanity's response in the coming days and weeks would determine their fate. "So what do we do?" someone asked. Sarah stood up, her eyes blazing with determination. "We show them exactly what humanity is capable of. We prepare, yes, but not just militarily. We'll use every ounce of creativity, every spark of innovation, every bit of courage our species possesses. We'll show them that Earth isn't just another planet to be conquered. We'll show them that humanity is a force to be reckoned with." As she spoke, she saw the fear in people's eyes being replaced by resolve. Humanity had faced countless challenges throughout its history and had always emerged stronger. This would be no different. The Galactic Empire had set its sights on Earth, thinking it an easy target. They were about to learn just how wrong they were. Humanity's warning to the stars was about to be written, and it would shake the very foundations of the galaxy. The world changed overnight. The alien message, broadcast to every corner of the globe, had shattered humanity's illusion of solitude in the universe. Panic gripped many, but others found a new sense of purpose. In New York, the United Nations building buzzed with activity. World leaders gathered for an emergency session, their usual rivalries set aside in the face of a common threat. "We need to pool our resources," declared the Chinese president, his voice firm. "This is no longer about individual nations. This is about the survival of our species." Nods of agreement rippled through the assembly. For the first time in history, Earth stood truly united. Meanwhile, in laboratories and workshops around the world, scientists and engineers worked tirelessly. They pored over the data from the alien probe, seeking any weakness, any advantage they could find. Dr. Emily Sato, a brilliant physicist from Tokyo, made a breakthrough. She burst into her lab, startling her team. "I've got it," she exclaimed, her eyes shining with excitement. "Their communication technology. It's based on principles we've only theorized about. If we can replicate it, we might be able to interfere with their systems." Her discovery sparked a global race to develop new weapons and defenses. Traditional arms seemed futile against an enemy that could cross the stars. Humanity needed to think bigger. In a secret facility beneath the Nevada desert, Dr. Chen worked with a team of the world's best minds. They were developing a radical new technology, a shield that could potentially protect the entire planet. "It's risky," Dr. Chen admitted to the military overseer, General Rodriguez. "We're pushing the boundaries of physics here. But if it works?" The general nodded grimly. "If it works, it might just save us all." As the days turned into weeks, Earth transformed. Cities became fortresses. Mountains were hollowed out to create safe havens. The oceans teemed with newly developed submarines, ready to hide and protect portions of humanity if the surface became uninhabitable. But it wasn't just about defense. Humanity had always thrived when pushing its boundaries, and this was no exception. The threat of alien invasion spurred innovation at an unprecedented rate. In a small lab in Nairobi, a team led by Dr. Akinwand made a startling discovery. They had been experimenting with the alien communication technology and stumbled upon something unexpected. "It's not just a means of communication," Dr. Akinwand explained to a stunned audience of world leaders, "connected via a secure video link. With some modifications, we believe it can be used to detect and possibly predict the movements of their ships, even at vast distances." This revelation changed everything. If humanity could track the alien fleet, they might stand a chance of preparing a proper defense, or even launching a preemptive strike. But as the preparations continued, a debate raged. Should Earth strike first, or wait and hope for a peaceful resolution? In the UN Assembly, the argument reached a fever pitch. "We can't risk appearing aggressive," argued the Canadian Prime Minister. "What if this is all a misunderstanding?" "And what if it isn't?" countered the Brazilian president. "We can't afford to be naive. Our very existence is at stake." As the debate raged on, Dr. Chen worked. She knew that regardless of the decision, Earth needed to be ready. Her team had made progress on the planetary shield, but it was far from complete. Late one night, as she pored over some calculations, an idea struck her. It was audacious, perhaps even crazy, but it just might work. She rushed to her computer and began typing furiously, outlining her plan. It wasn't just a shield she was designing now, but a weapon, a way to turn the aliens' own technology against them. As the sun rose, casting a golden glow over the desert facility, Dr. Chen sat back, exhausted but exhilarated. She picked up the secure phone on her desk and dialed a number. "Mr. President," she said when the call was answered, "I think I've found a way to save Earth, but we're going to need every resource we have, and we need to move fast." In orbit, the alien probe continued its silent vigil, unaware of the frenzied activity below. The Galactic Empire had expected an easy conquest. Instead, they had awakened a sleeping giant. Humanity was preparing not just to defend itself, but to take the fight to the stars if necessary. The warning they would send to the galaxy was being forged in the fires of innovation and determination. Earth was not to be underestimated, and the Empire was about to learn that lesson the hard way. The day humanity had been preparing for finally arrived. It started with a faint blip on the radar screens of Earth's newly enhanced detection systems. Within hours, that blip had multiplied into hundreds, then thousands. In the global command center, buried deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, tension was thick in the air. Military leaders from around the world stood shoulder to shoulder, their eyes fixed on the massive screen dominating the room. "They're here," General Rodriguez said, his voice barely above a whisper. As if on cue, the alien fleet emerged from behind the moon, their ships gleaming in the sunlight. They were massive, dwarfing even the largest of Earth's space stations. Their designs were sleek and otherworldly, a testament to their advanced technology. Dr. Chen, who had been working nonstop for weeks, felt a chill run down her spine. All their preparations, all their innovations, would it be enough? The lead alien ship, a behemoth that seemed to stretch for miles, moved into position above Earth. A familiar voice boomed across every communication channel on the planet. "People of Earth," the alien commander said, "your time for preparation is over. Submit to the Galactic Empire or face annihilation." In the command center, the President of the United States stepped forward. With a nod from her colleagues, she activated the global broadcast system. "We, the people of Earth," she began, her voice steady, "reject your ultimatum. We will not submit. We will not surrender. If you want our planet, you'll have to fight for it." For a moment, silence reigned. Then, without warning, the sky lit up with energy beams from the alien ships. But instead of the devastation they expected, the beams splashed harmlessly against an invisible barrier. Dr. Chen's planetary shield, the product of sleepless nights and breakthrough innovations, held firm. A cheer went up in the command center. "It works," Dr. Chen exclaimed, relief washing over her. But she knew this was just the beginning. The alien commander's voice returned, this time tinged with surprise and anger. "Impossible. How dare you resist the might of the Empire?" Earth's response came not in words, but in action. From hidden bases around the planet, squadrons of fighters took to the sky. These weren't ordinary jets, but the pinnacle of human engineering, enhanced with reverse-engineered alien technology. Leading the charge was Colonel Maya Patel, India's top pilot. As her squadron climbed through the atmosphere, she couldn't help but feel a sense of awe. They were about to engage in humanity's first interstellar battle. "Remember your training," she said to her pilots. "They may have numbers, but we have something they don't expect: the will to fight for our home." The battle that ensued was like nothing ever seen before on Earth. Human fighters darted between massive alien cruisers, their advanced weapons leaving trails of destruction. The aliens, caught off guard by the ferocity and effectiveness of Earth's defense, struggled to regroup. On the ground, Dr. Akinwan's team worked furiously, using their breakthrough to predict and counter the aliens' moves. "They're trying to establish a beachhead in the Pacific," he warned. "Redirect Squadrons 3 and 4. As the battle raged on, it became clear that the Empire had severely underestimated humanity. They had expected an easy conquest, a primitive species cowering before their advanced technology. Instead, they found themselves facing the united planet, armed with weapons that rivaled their own. In the heat of the battle, Colonel Patel noticed something strange. "Command, are you seeing this?" she radioed. "Their ships, they're not as coordinated as we expected. It's almost like they're not used to fighting an enemy that can fight back." Dr. Chen finished, a spark of hope igniting in her chest. The realization spread through Earth's forces like wildfire. The Galactic Empire, for all its power and technology, had grown complacent. They had conquered so many worlds with ease that they had forgotten what it was like to face real resistance. As the first day of battle drew to a close, Earth had not only survived, but had dealt significant blows to the alien fleet. In the command center, cautious optimism began to replace fear. "We've bloodied their nose," General Rodriguez said, "but this is far from over. They'll be back, and in greater numbers." Dr. Chen nodded, her mind already racing with new ideas. "Then we'll be ready," she said. "We've shown them that humanity is not to be trifled with. Now, let's show them why." As night fell, the battered alien fleet retreated to regroup. But on Earth, there was no rest. In labs and factories around the world, humans worked tirelessly, preparing for the next round. The Galactic Empire had made a grave mistake in underestimating Earth, and humanity was determined to make them pay for that mistake, no matter the cost. The second day of the invasion dawned with an eerie calm. The alien fleet hung in low orbit, a constant reminder of the threat looming over Earth. But humanity was far from idle. In a hidden bunker beneath the Amazon rainforest, Dr. Lucia Ferreira put the finishing touches on her latest invention. It was a swarm of microscopic robots, each no bigger than a grain of sand, but together they formed a weapon unlike anything seen before. "If this works," she murmured to herself, "we might just turn the tide." Meanwhile, in the skies above North America, Colonel Patel led a daring reconnaissance mission. Her fighter, equipped with the latest stealth technology, slipped between the alien ships undetected. "Command, are you seeing this?" she whispered into her comm. "Their ships, they're repairing themselves." Back at the command center, Dr. Chen's eyes widened. "Self-repairing technology," she breathed. "That's how they've maintained superiority for so long." But even as the aliens showcased their advanced technology, humanity was proving its greatest strength: adaptability. In the streets of major cities worldwide, civilians joined the fight. They weren't soldiers, but they had something just as valuable: ideas. Social media platforms buzzed with theories and suggestions, many of which found their way to the scientific teams. One such idea came from a 15-year-old girl in Lagos, Nigeria. "What if we use their own communication signals against them?" she proposed in a viral video. "Like, create a feedback loop or something." The suggestion reached Dr. Akinwand, who snapped his fingers in excitement. "Of course, we could overload their systems." As the day wore on, the alien fleet launched its second assault. But this time, Earth was ready. As the massive ships descended, Dr. Ferreira activated her swarm. Millions of microscopic robots surged into the air, latching onto the alien vessels. They began to burrow inside, disrupting systems and causing chaos. In space, Colonel Patel led the counterattack. Her fighters darted between the confused alien ships, their weapons now calibrated to exploit the weaknesses they'd observed. "Remember," she told her squadron, "they might be bigger, but we're smarter. Use that." On the ground, Dr. Akinwand's team put their plan into action. They hijacked the aliens' own communication frequencies, creating a devastating feedback loop. Across the battlefield, alien ships began to falter and lose coordination. The alien commander's voice boomed across the planet once more, but this time it was tinged with disbelief. "How is this possible? You're nothing but primitives." In response, humanity showed just how wrong he was. In cities around the world, people pointed makeshift antennas towards the sky, amplifying the disruptive signal. It was a global effort, every person doing their part. As alien ships began to fall from the sky, disabled by the combined assault of technology and sheer human will, a cheer went up around the world. They were winning. But the battle was far from over. The alien commander, enraged by the unexpected resistance, ordered a last, desperate attack. A massive energy weapon, hidden in the heart of their flagship, began to power up. "They're targeting the planetary shield generator," Dr. Chen shouted, her fingers flying over her keyboard as she tried to reinforce the defenses. For a heart-stopping moment, It seemed like all might be lost. The alien weapon fired, a beam of unimaginable power streaking towards Earth. But at the last second, something incredible happened. The beam hit the planetary shield and bounced off. Not only did the shield hold, but it reflected the energy right back at the alien fleet. The resulting explosion lit up the sky like a second sun. When the light faded, nearly half of the alien fleet was gone, reduced to drifting debris. In the stunned silence that followed, the voice of the alien commander came through once more. But this time, it was shaky, uncertain. How did you do that? Dr. Chen stepped up to the global broadcast system, a smile on her face. You thought you were facing primitives, she said. But what you're really facing is the full innovative power of humanity. We don't just adapt. We thrive on challenges. And you, my friend, have given us the challenge of a lifetime. As the remaining alien ships began a hasty retreat, the cheers of celebration echoed around the world. Against all odds, humanity had stood its ground. They had taken on a galactic superpower and not only survived, but triumphed. But even as they celebrated, Earth's defenders knew this was just the beginning. The Galactic Empire had been bloodied, but not defeated. And humanity had sent a clear message to the stars. Earth was not to be trifled with. The next move would be the Empire's. And Earth would be ready. 3 days had passed since the Galactic Empire's retreat. Earth buzzed with a mix of celebration and anxious preparation. Everyone knew the aliens would return, and when they did, they would be angry. In the Global Command Center, Dr. Chen paced back and forth. They'll have adapted to our tactics, she said. We need something new, something they won't expect. As if in answer to her words, an alert blared through the facility. Incoming transmission. A technician called out. It's from the Empire. The main screen flickered to life, revealing the face of the alien commander. His expression was a mix of anger and grudging respect. Humans, he began, his voice echoing through the chamber. You have proven yourselves formidable, but make no mistake, this changes nothing. The Empire does not tolerate resistance. Surrender now, and we may show mercy. The world leaders exchanged glances. The U.S. President stepped forward. And if we refuse, she asked, her voice steady. The alien's eyes narrowed. Then we will unleash our full might upon your world. You have seen but a fraction of our power. Surrender or be annihilated. As the transmission cut off, a tense silence filled the room. It was broken by an unexpected voice. Let them come, said Zara, the 15-year-old girl from Lagos, whose idea had helped turn the tide of the previous battle. She had been invited to the command center as a consultant, her young mind providing fresh perspectives. All eyes turned to her. What do you mean? Dr. Chen asked. Zara stood up, her eyes shining with determination. They think they're scaring us, but they're actually giving us exactly what we need: time and information. Her words sparked a flurry of activity. Scientists and strategists huddled together, formulating plans. If the Empire wanted to make a show of force, humanity would be ready. Days turned into weeks. The alien fleet remained just out of reach, a constant threat looming over the planet. But Earth was far from idle. In laboratories around the world, scientists worked tirelessly. They studied the debris from fallen alien ships, reverse engineering technology beyond their wildest dreams. Dr. Ferreira's micro-robots evolved, becoming smarter and more versatile. Dr. Akinwan's team cracked the alien communication codes, giving Earth unprecedented insight into the Empire's plans. But the real breakthrough came from an unexpected source. In a small garage in suburban Australia, a hobbyist tinkerer named Dave made a startling discovery. He had been experimenting with a piece of alien tech, trying to understand its power source. It's not just a power source, he exclaimed during a global video conference. It's like a key to the fabric of space itself. His discovery sent shockwaves through the scientific community. Within days, teams around the world were replicating and expanding on his findings. As the day of the Empire's return drew near, Earth unveiled its secret weapon. It wasn't a new gun or shield, but something far more fundamental: control over gravity itself. When the massive alien fleet appeared in the sky, humanity was ready. But instead of attacking, the Earth forces did something unexpected. They waited. Confused by the lack of resistance, the alien commander's voice boomed across the planet once more. "This is your last chance," he declared. "Surrender or be destroyed." In response, Dr. Chen stepped up to the global broadcast system. "You say we've seen only a fraction of your power," she said, her voice calm but filled with steel. "Well, now it's time for you to see ours." At her signal, the plan was put into action. All around the world, gravity control devices activated. The effect was immediate and dramatic. Alien ships suddenly found themselves impossibly heavy, struggling to stay aloft. Others became weightless, spinning out of control. The carefully coordinated fleet fell into chaos. But that was just the beginning. As the aliens struggled to regain control, Earth launched its counterattack. Fighters equipped with gravity drives zipped between the massive ships, untouchable and devastating. On the ground, civilians played their part too. Millions of people aimed simple, homemade gravity disruptors at the sky, their combined effect amplifying the chaos. The alien commander's voice came through once more, but this time it was panicked. "What is this sorcery? How are you doing this?" Dr. Chen's response was simple. "This isn't sorcery. This is human ingenuity. This is what happens when you push humanity into a corner. We don't just fight back. We evolve." As alien ships began to fall from the sky, disabled or destroyed, the truth became clear. The Galactic Empire had made a fatal mistake. They had assumed that their advanced technology made them invincible. They had never considered that in giving humanity time to prepare, they had sealed their own fate. The battle was far from over, but the tide had irrevocably turned. Humanity had not just survived the Empire's onslaught, they had surpassed it. And in doing so, they had changed the balance of power in the galaxy forever. The battle for Earth had reached its tipping point. With their newfound control over gravity, humanity had gained the upper hand. But the war was far from over. The Galactic Empire, though reeling, was not defeated. In the skies above Earth, chaos reigned. Alien ships tumbled and spun, their crews struggling against forces they didn't understand. But amidst the chaos, the massive Imperial flagship remained steady, protected by shields that even gravity couldn't penetrate. Colonel Maya Patel's voice crackled over the comm system. "This is our chance," she said, her tone urgent. "We need to take out that flagship before they figure out how to counter our gravity tech." In the command center, Dr. Chen nodded grimly. "Agreed. But how do we get past those shields?" It was Zora, the teenage genius from Lagos, who provided the answer. "We don't go through the shields," she said, her eyes gleaming with excitement. "We go around them." Her plan was audacious, bordering on insane. But in a war against an alien empire, insanity might just be humanity's greatest weapon. Within hours, a daring mission was underway. A small team of Earth's best pilots, led by Colonel Patel, prepared to make history. Their ships weren't the sleek fighters they were used to, but cobbled-together craft that looked more like space tugboats than warships. As they approached the Imperial flagship, the alien commander's voice boomed across space. "Your pathetic attempts are futile," he sneered. "Nothing can penetrate our shields." Colonel Patel smiled grimly. "Who said anything about penetrating?" she muttered. At her signal, the Earth ships activated their secret weapons. These weren't guns or missiles, but gravity projectors, infinitely more powerful than anything they'd used before. The energy output was so massive that the ships began to break apart around them. But it worked. Space itself seemed to warp and bend. A wormhole, small and unstable, blinked into existence inside the Imperial flagship's shields. Now, Patel yelled. Earth's forces poured through the wormhole. Fighters, mechs, and even foot soldiers in high-tech spacesuits materialized inside the alien ship. The Empire had expected an external assault. They were completely unprepared for an enemy suddenly appearing in their midst. On the bridge of the flagship, alarms blared. The alien commander stared in disbelief at the tactical displays. "Impossible," he whispered. But the impossible was happening. Throughout the massive ship, battles raged. Human ingenuity and determination clashed against alien technology and discipline. Dr. Ferreira's micro-robots swarmed through the ship's systems, causing havoc. Dave, the Australian tinkerer, now suited up as a field engineer, reprogrammed alien tech on the fly, turning the ship's own systems against it. In the engine room, Dr. Aikenwand led a team to seize control of the ship's power core. "If we can't take it," he said, setting up explosive charges, "we'll make sure they can't use it either." But the tide truly turned when Zara, who had insisted on joining the mission, made a breakthrough. Analyzing the alien computer systems, she found a flaw in their programming. "It's like they never considered someone might attack from the inside," she said, her fingers flying over the alien console. "Their security is all focused outward." With a few keystrokes, she opened every door and airlock on the ship, exposing large sections to the vacuum of space. Alien crew members were sucked out into the void, while the human attackers, in their sealed suits, pressed on. On the bridge, Colonel Patel confronted the alien commander. The once mighty leader now looked small and afraid. "Surrender," Patel said, her weapon trained on him. "It's over." For a moment, it seemed the commander might resist. But then, looking at the determination in the human's eyes, he slumped in defeat. "We surrender," he said, his voice barely a whisper. As word of the flagship's fall spread, the remaining alien ships began to retreat. The sky above Earth, so recently filled with the Empire's mighty armada, slowly cleared. In cities around the world, people emerged from shelters, looking up at the sky in wonder. Cheers erupted, growing to a global roar of triumph. But in the command center, Dr. Chen's expression remained serious. "This isn't the end," she said. "It's just the beginning." She was right. In defeating the Empire's invasion force, humanity had not merely defended their world. They had announced their presence to the galaxy at large. Earth was no longer a primitive backwater, but a force to be reckoned with. As the captured Imperial flagship was towed into orbit, humanity looked to the stars with new eyes. They had fought for their survival, but in doing so, they had inherited the cosmos. The Galactic Empire had sought to conquer Earth. Instead, they had unleashed a power beyond their imagining. Humanity's age of isolation was over. Their era of cosmic adventure was about to begin. 1 year had passed since the Galactic Empire's defeat at Earth. The planet had changed in ways few could have imagined. The sky, once empty save for the moon and stars, now teemed with activity. Captured alien ships, reverse-engineered and piloted by humans, zipped back and forth. Massive space stations orbited the Earth, testaments to humanity's rapid technological advance. In the UN headquarters in New York, now expanded to include representatives from every nation on Earth, a historic meeting was underway. Dr. Chen stood at the podium, addressing the assembly. "We stand at a crossroads," she said, her voice echoing through the chamber. "We have defended our world. Now we must decide our place in the galaxy." The debate that followed was heated. Some argued for isolation, to focus on building Earth's defenses. Others pushed for immediate expansion, to strike at the Empire before it could recover. It was Zora, now heading Earth's new Galactic Relations Department despite her young age, who proposed a middle path. "We don't need to choose between defense and expansion," she said. "We can do both, but on our terms." Her plan was bold. Earth would reach out to other worlds conquered by the Empire, offering them the means to free themselves. In return, these worlds would become allies, forming a new coalition of free planets. As the plan was put into motion, humanity's first interstellar diplomatic mission prepared to depart. The ship chosen for this historic journey was none other than the captured Imperial flagship, now renamed Unity. Colonel Patel, hero of the war, was selected to lead the mission. As she stood on the bridge of the Unity, she couldn't help but marvel at how far they'd come. "Who'd have thought," she muttered, "that we go from fighting for survival to embarking on a galactic peacekeeping mission in just a year?" Dr. Aikenwand, now the ship's chief science officer, chuckled. "If there's one thing I've learned," he said, "it's to never underestimate human adaptability." As the Unity prepared to depart, a transmission came in from the Empire. The face that appeared on the screen was not the old commander, but a new leader. Her expression was a mix of respect and wariness. "Humans of Earth," she said, "your victory was unexpected. The Empire acknowledges your strength. We propose a truce." The offer was tempting, but Earth's leaders were cautious. They had learned the hard way not to trust the Empire's words. It was Dave, the Australian tinkerer turned chief engineer, who came up with a solution. "We accept your truce," he said, his grin visible even through his bushy beard. "But on one condition. You're going to help us free the worlds you've conquered." The Imperial leader's eyes widened in shock. "You cannot be serious," she sputtered. "The Empire would never agree to." "You don't have a choice," Dr. Chen cut in, her voice firm. "Either you help us peacefully liberate these worlds, or we'll do it ourselves. And trust me, you don't want to face an angry Earth again." Faced with the prospect of another war they couldn't win, the Empire reluctantly agreed. And so began a new era in galactic history. The Unity, accompanied by a fleet of Earth ships and even some reluctant Imperial vessels, set out on its mission of liberation. As they approached their first destination, a world that had suffered under Imperial rule for centuries, Colonel Patel addressed her crew. "Remember," she said, "we're not conquerors. We're not here to replace one empire with another. We're here to offer freedom, to show the galaxy a new way." The mission was not without its challenges. Some worlds were skeptical of Earth's intentions. Others, having known only Imperial rule, struggled with the concept of self-governance. But slowly, steadily, the coalition grew. Back on Earth, humanity continued to innovate. The gravity control technology that had won the war was now being used to terraform Mars. The micro-robots that had wreaked havoc on Imperial ships were being adapted for medical use, curing diseases once thought incurable. As news of Earth's actions spread across the galaxy, more and more worlds reached out, seeking alliance or even membership in the growing coalition. The Empire, its power waning, could only watch as its former subjects embraced freedom. One day, as the Unity orbited a newly liberated world, Zara received a strange transmission. It came from a distant part of the galaxy, from a civilization even the Empire hadn't encountered. "We have watched your actions with great interest," the message said. "Perhaps it is time we met." As Zara shared the message with Earth's leaders, a sense of excitement and anticipation filled the air. They had defended their world, liberated others, and reshaped the balance of power in the galaxy. Now, they stood on the brink of a new adventure, ready to meet new civilizations as equals. The Galactic Empire had set its sights on Earth, expecting an easy conquest. Instead, they had awakened a sleeping giant unleashing humanity onto the galactic stage. And the galaxy would never be the same again.